Hello, folks. This past week, I was sitting in church on Sunday, and it came to me that the betrayal of Jesus Christ is eerily similar to the betrayal of Donald Trump that we saw on January 6th, which would be Good Friday. I want to point out several very interesting similarities. First of all, Jesus did not have to come to earth. I'm singing a song about how he left the riches and glories and beauty of heaven to come down to earth and be among people and suffer with the people. So, President Trump did not have to run for office. He was not an up-and-coming, want-to-be politician. He was a rich man who had everything he could possibly want. He had riches, glory, and everything. The praise of the media, the leftists. But he left his glory to become a person that worked with the common man. Now that right there is, gives you goosebumps. But these kind of scenarios play out throughout history, if you just look for them. All right, then of course, the left-wingers, the activists, the media, the scribes and Pharisees, the hypocrites, as Jesus called them, they are perfect for the part of the scribes and Pharisees, all those news media people. And they were trying to trip Trump up throughout his entire presidency. And what do you think the scribes and the Pharisees were trying to do to Jesus? Trip him up and get him to say something that they could find fault and accuse him. Well, that one time, he offended them so badly that they grabbed him and led him to a cliff. They were going to throw Jesus over. But he walked through them because it wasn't his time to die. So I would say that sounds like the impeachment. They tried every trick in the book to try to say that he colluded with Russia, have this impeachment, that impeachment. The attempted impeachment of Trump was like leading him to the cliff where they wanted to throw him over. But he passed through, and they couldn't touch him. All right. Then, as we get closer to the Good Friday for the Trump story, we had, everything was debated, and of course the left has been trying to get him for a long time. And there's all the uncertainty about the election, all the lies and cheating, and and there was one of the times whenever he was when some parade. It might have been December or something, like a motorcade parade. That sounds a little bit like the Palm Sunday time. I mean, of course, we're not, worshiping President Trump, but we're seeing that we know he was doing God's will, and we know the Democrats, as Sky News Australia was reporting just today, Democrats are trying to introduce worshiping pagan gods into public schools. How about it? Convenient they got the prayer and Bible reading out. Anyway, on with the Trump story. So, as we get up to the January 6th, we have I would say, probably more or less, the Supreme Court could have been the other disciples that forsook him. They forsook him. And of course, the Democrats, they brought many false witnesses, and they couldn't make things stick. Well, actually, let's say, no, the Supreme Court, okay, the Republicans in the Congress and Senate, no, they are the disciples that forsook him. And the Supreme Court is Pontius Pilate. They washed their hands of the Trump case. They did not want to hear it. They basically said to the left, you do with him as you will. So, yes, Pontius Pilate, Supreme Court. And there was one person standing between the left and their capture of Donald Trump. And there was one person standing that made the connection that brought Jesus betrayed Jesus to the scribes and the Pharisees. The same person who dippeth with him in the dish, someone who was close. 30 pence. 30 pence was the last line of defense. The last person who could have made a stand and made a investigation into the irregularities. But, just like in the Garden of Eden, Judas gave Jesus a kiss, and he was betrayed. And Pence, he betrayed him. And who could be closer to the president than his vice president? As a friend. So, we have that. And so Trump finally gave up on the presidency, gave up the ghost, for the good of the people. For the good of the people. And then, so now, he's been taken down. And we are in the period of the days in the tomb. So I'd say we are in the days of the tomb right now. And of course, the leftists are trying to persecute and hunt down the Trump supporters, just like the scribes and the Pharisees were trying to hunt down the supporters of Jesus, the Christians. So there are so many similarities here. It is just creepy. However, so the story wasn't over with Jesus. And the story is not over with President Trump, even though right now we don't know how long the days in the tombs are going to last. We are definitely in, the Saturday. At least the Friday night, the Saturday after Good Friday. And will the new social media accounts and everything, all the new companies he's starting, will that be Trump's, rise from the political dead? Will that be his rise? We can hope. And I said this just shows that, and there's a verse in Matthew, it says, and Jesus said, as it's talking about how people will betray him and deny him, and it's just so apropos. And he says, God will smite the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered. And right now, Trump has been smitten, and the Trump supporters are scattered. We sort of don't know where they are, what they're doing. Too much. Of course, the left isn't going to tell us. But this is a wake-up call to all of us to know that we should not be depending upon, one person to protect our freedom. We all have to protect our own freedom equally and put in equal effort into it. And I'm sure we're going to have to put in more than our share of effort than we would have had we started 20 years ago. But anyway, so I said, this came to me as I was sitting in church on Palm Sunday, and I'm like, this is a comparison worth noting. Very interesting comparison, especially as we are drawing near, I suppose, toward the end times. However, as long as I'm here on earth, and as long as you're here, it's our duty to fight for what is right and good, and fight for Christianity. So, all right, have a happy Easter, everyone. He is risen indeed. God bless, and let freedom ring.